Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to look at one of the classes skill trees and everything involved with action skills and passive skills and all that kind of stuff. It is the Clawbringer. Now this sounds kind of interesting. I haven't really looked into it yet, so we're going to look at it together. If you know your classes and what you're going to choose, please let me know. I'm going to be making videos on all of these classes and I'm still haven't figured out what I want to play yet. As I said, I'm kind of like just getting into the Wonderlands content. I was going to leave it fresh and clean and not do anything, but I decided I wanted to jump on the week before and get hyped up for the game. So if you're excited, let me know down below. Clawbringers are faithful warriors who bring down thunder and flames upon their enemies with a spectral hammer alongside their fire-breathing Wyvern Companion. So it's a companion-based thing. I'm not going to read all this. Okay, so basically, like in Borderlands, you have a skill tree and you can put points into like one of these three. And then when you reach 5 points, this tier unlocks. So this is tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, tier 5, tier 6. Usually there's a limited amount of points. I don't know how this game's going to work, but you can choose between your class actions here, and then you put all your points in the perks that you want. And we're going to look at those now. Class Feast, which is your Wyvern Companion. It flies through the environment and attacks enemies with its claws and fire breath. Any increase to the Fate Maker's damage also applies to their companion. So if you get any buffs to your damage, it will also go on to your companion. The action skills, this is what your character does as like its special move, a super in Destiny, as to say. The Cleansing Flames, the Fate Maker summons their hammer and slams it into the ground, dealing melee damage and creating a massive fire nova, dealing fire ability damage to nearby enemies. So you take out your hammer, close range, hit the floor, AoE, burn people. Storm Dragon's Judgment, the Fate Maker summons their hammer and hurls it, dealing lightning ability damage to all enemies it touches. It sticks wherever it lands and deals lightning melee damage every second to all nearby enemies. The Fate Maker can recall the hammer, damaging enemies along its path, ending the action skill early and refunding a portion of the cooldown. So you basically you throw your hammer, you do lightning damage. If you don't call it back, it will sit there just doing constant lightning damage every second. And if you bring it back, you get some of your cooldown back and you hit people on the way. Pretty damn cool. So this is a tier 1 perks, Oath of Fire. The Fate Maker deals bonus fire damage with their guns, and their Wyvern Companion deals bonus fire damage. So if you were going to build into the fire action skill, this is where you'd want to go first, naturally. We have Radiance. The Fate Maker gains increased maximum ward capacity. I'm not sure what ward is. Maybe it's health or shields or something similar to that, but in this game. But it, it's a defensive perk that you can spec into. Or Oath of Thunder, the Fate Maker deals bonus lightning damage with their melee attacks, and their Wyvern Companion deals bonus lightning damage. So if he was going to choose the throwing the hammer like form, this is where you'd want to go first. Tier 2, Dragon Aura. The Fate Maker is surrounded by a Dragon Aura that grants themselves and all allies inside it increased elemental damage. So if you're playing as a team and you want to be a support type of person, this is the perk for you. Dedication, the Fate Maker gains increased action skill cooldown rate. The higher their ward, the greater the bonus. So whatever ward is, the higher it is, you get more cooldown rate. So you're getting your abilities back quicker. If you're a solo player, this is going to be for you because you're not going to need to help or support other teammates. And you're going to be getting your hammer down more often, getting more kills and dealing more damage. Rebuke. The Fate Maker gains damage reduction from all attacks. Additionally, all allies near the Fate Maker gain a chance to reflect damage back to their attackers as lightning damage. So again, if you're playing in a team, it's going to be a pick between Dragon Aura and Rebuke. If you're on your own, a bit of dedication. Blasphemous Favor. This is a 1 point max. You have to get this to move on to the next tier. So it's just something you have to have. Kill skill. Killing an enemy with a gun summons a fire orb that seeks out a new enemy, dealing fire ability damage. And killing an enemy with melee damage summons a lightning orb, which seeks out a new enemy and deals lightning ability damage. So you've got a reason to use guns and not just run around using your action skills. And when you do, you're going to get some extra bonus damage and it be an elemental based damage too. Tier 4, Firebolt, 1 point max. The Wyvern Companion will occasionally shoot firebolts at enemies, causing damage in an area and leaving a splat. I'm assuming that's kind of like if someone walks over it, it will hurt them. Additionally, the Fate Maker gains increased gun damage. So if you wanted to spec into your companion a little bit, this would be a very good perk. Friend to Flame. The Fate Maker's Wyvern Companion gains increased damage. So again, both of these work together really well if you want to spec into your companion. Storm Breath. The Wyvern Companion will occasionally use its lightning breath on enemies, causing lightning damage that can arc from enemy to enemy. Additionally, the Fate Maker increases increased damage reduction. So if you want to play attacking and you've built into fire, this is where you go. If you want to go a little bit more defensive but a little bit ranged too, you go to Storm Breath, and then you can throw as many points as you want in here to get increased damage. Tier 5, or after dealing fire damage, the Fate Maker gains increased critical hit damage. After dealing lightning damage, the Fate Maker gains increased critical hit chance. So, you know, with all your perks working together and you're shooting people with guns and you get that little fire orb, you know, you do more fire damage and you get critical hit damage, you know, or critical hit chance. So it all kind of like comes together pretty well. Obviously, I can't completely visualize it because we're just reading off a webpage. Indomitable. If the Fate Maker would enter Save Your Soul, which is, I'm guessing, the knockdown, like when you're knocked down before you die, instead they refill their ward and deal bonus lightning damage for a short time. This skill has a long cooldown, so it looks like you can bring yourself back from the dead. For a short period of time, you'll have bonus lightning damage. Tier 6, Storm Smite. Whenever the Fate Maker activates an action skill, which is your hammer throw or your hammer slam, they call down elemental bolts that deal fire ability damage or lightning ability damage to all nearby enemies. And that is pretty much it. So you can see it's a very, very kind of intrinsic build. Like, you will have your companion and yourself doing similar damage types, you know, getting buffs off each other. And then, you know, there's going to be multi-classing where you can have a second class. So, you know, you could pick a class that kind of goes alongside that. But for me right now, this is looking pretty promising. I love a companion build, and the elements, fire and lightning, are awesome. And the idea of being 4 and throwing your hammer around sounds super exciting to me. So, you know, I'm very, 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 very excited for this. I've got to look at the other classes though. So let's do that in the next video. Hope you enjoyed this. Let me know down below what you think of this class. Let me know what class you are thinking of choosing, because you may have read this. I'll try to remember to list this in the video description as well, so you can come over and look for it yourself. And yeah, thank you for watching. I've been easynow. You guys have been awesome.